and that is an endless, this constant pushing. And I have these children, and I'm astounded. I want to shake them. You know, my son says, well, they didn't answer my email. And I think, so what? Send it to them again. Call them up. And I personally knock on many doors. And what's the worst? You know, they say no. So what? And then you move on. So I've had many positive yeses. Spenta said, do you want to come to Karachi? And I said, yes. How's that? To specialize, right? So we were able to specialize, meaning people who are really talented at something could go ahead and someone else would take care of the farming, the child rearing, all those things. And I think specialization was an attribute for our species, and now we've had 3,000 years of thinking deep thoughts and all sorts of silos. All sorts of silos. So I think we've now swung to we've taken as much value as we can out of that specialization, and we've now codified it. So for me, the opportunities lie in this collaboration between disciplines. And if I think of Zipcar, why that was successful, and me personally successful, Zipcar, we did great marketing and technology and retail in a clump, and it had to have a diverse skill set to pull that off. And if I were talking to another group, I emphasize the ability to become, when you choose multidisciplinary things, you can become the real world's expert in an honest way in a short period of time. So right now, one of Time 100's most influential, which is, as you know, marketing is everything. But I am in this intersection of technology, entrepreneurship, climate change and transportation, where I really am the world's expert. Who would have known? But at this intersection, and therefore I'm taking ideas from one discipline to another, and that is so incredibly fruitful that I'm coming with ideas that seem quite obvious to me that are groundbreaking for others. So that's where I think our future is going to lie, is more collaboration between disciplines so that ideas and structures and models from one can be applied to other things. And as an individual, when I think about my children's future success, I think we need to be multidisciplinary because the future is so uncertain. I heard a lovely quote at a conference I was speaking at the other day. He said, my father had one job in his life. I'll have 7 jobs in my life, and my son will have 7 jobs at the same time. And I think we're really at this place where we need to get out of this specialization back to collaboration and diversity if we want to be resilient in this incredibly uncertain future.
In your mind, you can contact her. Thank you so much, Robin Chase, for sticking out really encompass whatever that you've gained today. Well, a person who has a business, thriving business, and is also doing community service at the same time, protecting the environment, and receives corporate love letters. What more can you want? Thank you once again. I will invite Mr. Farooq, Captain, from the American Business Council for a vote of thanks, sir.
For that very inspiring talk. As you can see from the number of questions you had, really engaged the audience, caught their fancy imagination. Thank you very much for that lovely talk. You know what? Recently I was reading a book. It's a book on entrepreneurship called The Blue Sweater by Jacqueline Novogratz, someone that I respect a lot in entrepreneurship. And the reason it's called The Blue Sweater is that when she was a kid, 10 years old or so, she had a favorite blue sweater. And then ultimately, a few years later, she donated it to the Salvation Army. And that was the end of the sweater. And several years later, she was in Rwanda, and she saw a little boy with a blue sweater on. And she knew that her blue sweater had a little tag on it, some tag. So she went over to the little boy, checked it, and it was her blue sweater. And that is really an example of how interconnected we all are in this world. And this doesn't just happen to faraway people in faraway places. Robin's presence here is an example, a personal example of something like that for us. Because 2 weeks ago, my sister Samantha was talking to me and said, well, I have this college friend called Robin Chase, and she's maybe coming to Karachi. And I said, Robin Chase of Zipcar? And she said, yeah. How do you know Zipcar? I said, well, I was a Zipcar customer. She said, come on, I'm not a Zipcar customer. So I said, yes, I've been using that. Where were you a Zipcar customer? I said, in Boston. And I described the concept to her. I told her I had a green Volkswagen, specially parked outside my house. And this happened, and that happened. And she said, oh, wow. And then later that night, we were with Dr. Ishrath, and we were talking about Robin's coming. And again, I said, you know, I was one of Robin's customers. He said, come on, how could you be one of Robin's customers? And I was. And next time with the American Business Council, they said, we're going to invite Robin Chase. So I said, I was a customer. They said, what do you mean you're a customer? But all of that is true. I was Robin's customer in Boston 10 years ago. And one of the first members of Zipcar, I saw the concept and I liked it, I loved it. I said, I'm in. And we had a lot of exchange between Robin and myself in those days, including climactically when one day I was in a snowstorm, and here I am, a Pakistani boy, no idea how to deal with snow, and I'm stuck in Copley Square. And I don't know what to do. I'm responsible to get this car back to this parking space at a certain time. And I call up Robin and say, Robin, what are you doing? I'm finished. I can't get the car back, and I'm stuck, and I can't move. So don't worry, just jump into a taxi, leave the car where it is, I'll take care of it. And she did. She was a Boston girl, she knew how to deal with snow, and she was obliging and customer related. So she came to Copley Square, picked up the car, brought it back. She was brought right back to its own parking space. And so that's, just how interconnected we all are. But her talk today was about entrepreneurship, and really it is all about entrepreneurship. Pakistan is a poor country, and she worked in USAID. And what is the solution to this poverty? It's really not USAID or anybody's aid. The solution is in entrepreneurship. You've heard this famous expression, you give a man a fish and he eats one day, you teach a man how to fish, he eats fish all his life. But USAID or any aid is giving a man a fish. So that's the word. Although the US government has always given this Gary Lugar bill, and we're going to get $5 billion, in 5 years' time it will all be nothing, and we'll probably be up to where we are. So that's really not the answer. Teach a man how to fish, that's we've had education, primary schools, this, that, and the other going on for years and years. And yes, it's good that people are educated, but if they're uneducated, unemployed, unhealthy, problems with health, no jobs, no money, that's not good either. It's really, what I say is give a man a fish, teach a man to fish, it's all fine. But the problem in the poor countries is that we've run out of fish. There are no more fish. And this is really literally true also with the Somali, these pirates, the Somali pirates who are now hijacking ships, they were previously fishermen. And they said we became pirates because the Russians overfished our waters and now there are no fish, so we're pirates. So to stop people from becoming pirates, terrorists, all that, what we need is more fish. And you get more fish through entrepreneurship. And that is really the answer. And I'm so glad that Robin is here and Dr. Ishrath, building a center for entrepreneurship here at the IBA. Zafar Khan is teaching already here at the IBA. And all of these it's a wonderful effort because this is what is the need of the hour. And this is what Robin is doing. This is what Dr. Ishrath is doing. So thank you very much, Robin, for coming to Pakistan, for making the plunge, coming here where many wise people fear to tread. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for coming without charging us. I know also that I know that you get several $1,000 a lecture, and you didn't charge us anything. So thank you for that.
Dr. Ishrath, please may I request you to please join us here. present the memento from IBA?
Sure.
Please join us for a cup of tea. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.